Hey everybody, what's going on, and welcome to Guns N' Roses Central, and today we're talking about 6 things you may or may not have known about the Guns N' Roses song One in a Million off their 1988 album GNR Lies. Now this is easily one of the most controversial Guns N' Roses songs, probably the most controversial, and I'd probably say the second one is the Charles Manson cover they did on the Spaghetti Incident. So let's start off with the first thing you may or may not have known about One in a Million. Slash talked about the song years after leaving Guns N' Roses, so in an interview with Q Magazine in April 2010, the fight he had with Rose about recording the song, he said, "We had a big disagreement about it, and the more I argued about it, the more adamant he was about putting it out there. It probably says a lot about our relationship. I'm sure he was aware of my heritage, but at the same time he had his own point of view that he was trying to put across, which he's spoken about plenty. I wasn't surprised about the level of controversy it caused. There had been a lot of attention towards homosexuality at that time, and as always to racism and stuff, and I think the tone of the song was offensive. It didn't shock me that it was so controversial, it was just the way it was put, the words it used. I'm not one to harbor regrets. I didn't agree with it when it came out and still don't, but no one really cares about it anymore. It was unfortunate at the time, but it is what it is, and what is done is done. You know that. You know what? I don't think about it anymore. It was a big deal when it came out, but I haven't heard it in so long. I don't think it did us any harm, not in the long run." Number 2, Guns N' Roses actually had some people from the African American community defend their song One in a Million, and they also had Billy Joel defend Axl Rose as well.
I was talking to Axl Rose about that song. I met up with him in Los Angeles. Nice guy. I asked him, what about this song? And his point was he wasn't saying it as him. He was saying this is what people say. He said that was just to present his point of view.
But One in a Million, based as it very much seems to be on Rose's own experiences when he first arrived in Los Angeles, packs such an unpleasant punch for the very reason that there's no apparent distance between the song's writer and its angry young protagonist. Maybe this isn't a case of racism. Maybe it's just an artistic shortcoming. Rose, whose partner, the guitarist Slash, is half black himself, doesn't consider himself a racist, and some black people don't even think that his use of the word nigger should be that big a deal.
I think that as a black person,
so, if you want to express his thoughts, Guns N' Roses, peace.
But the casual, especially those who admire the music of such groups as Guns N' Roses and Public Enemy, can do something. They can call these people to account.
Everyone that's an artist has artistic freedom to do what they want. I am completely against censorship. So I think Axl Rose has the right to say what he likes, but if he puts it out in the, in the public eye, then he has to deal with the reaction.
So in 1989, Guns N' Roses opened 4 shows for the Rolling Stones, but also on the bill was the band Living Colour. And their guitarist Vernon Reid actually called out Axl Rose during the band's performance. Reid wasn't happy with the use of the N-word on the Guns N' Roses song One in a Million, and his rant on stage actually earned him the respect of Keith Richards, who found him after the show and shook his hand. Apparently, this infuriated Axl, according to this MTV News report from 1989.
Roses joined Living Colour as opening acts for a 4-night stand by the Rolling Stones. Most of the excitement was provided by the Guns' lead singer, Axl Rose. The group was scheduled to go on at 7:30, but at 7 o'clock, Rose called backstage and reportedly announced, "I'm quitting the band." One of the group's managers managed to talk him out of that rash move and asked if he needed a police escort to make it to the show on time. Rose said no, he wanted to make the trip in a police squad car. This was arranged, but Rose was still late in arriving. Backstage, he was overheard complaining that he'd heard Living Colour guitarist Vernon Reid on the radio objecting to the lyrics of the Guns N' Roses song One in a Million, with their now notorious references to, quote, immigrants, faggots, and niggers. Walking out on stage with the band, Rose immediately launched into an extended defense of his intentions, saying, quote, "I'm sick and tired of all this publicity," and adding that he didn't care what color or sexual persuasion a person was, that, quote, "as long as you're not selling crack or pushing drugs, you're okay with me." The band then launched into its set, playing about 5 minutes longer than scheduled. At one point, Rose slipped and fell off the stage. Then when they returned for an encore, Rose went into another tirade. Apparently very angry, he said, quote, "Unless certain people in this band start getting their act together, this is going to be the last Guns N' Roses show. I'm sick and tired of too many people in this organization dancing with Mr. Brownstone." That's a reference to a drug song on the Guns' debut album. Sources close to Guns N' Roses say the group probably will play the remaining 3 LA shows with the Stones, but they point out that the band's guitarist, Slash, has been playing erratically of late, that although Rose has written dozens of songs for the group's next album, nothing has been recorded yet, and that after the Stones date, the future of Guns N' Roses is very much up in the air. If anyone knows all about this sort of group dissension, it's the Rolling Stones themselves. And when they finally came on stage last night, Mick Jagger took note of the Axl Rose incident by dedicating a song to him. The song, of course, was Mixed Emotions.
In 1991 or 1992, there was an LA band named Mary's Danish who actually issued a rebuke to Axl Rose's song One in a Million. Here's the MTV News report and interview with the band talking about their song. So their song was titled Axl Rose Is Love.
Get in the Ring is not, of course, the first time Axl Rose has angered someone with his song lyrics. One in a Million from the GNR Lies EP caused a major controversy with its attacks on immigrants, niggers, and faggots. Now, the Los Angeles funk rock band Mary's Danish has issued a belated rebuke to that song titled Axl Rose Is Love. We learned more about the song from Mary's Danish themselves when we caught up with them in Los Angeles rehearsing for their upcoming U.S. tour.
Between bands like NWA and stuff saying that they're just reporting on their daily life, like this is what I see around me, this is my neighborhood, and this is what I see on a daily basis, and then somebody else just passing along negative vibes. Not enough room for this kind of hatred. White against black, black against white, and be
Axl Rose's Love is on Mary's Danish's new album called Circa. The band finishes a 4-night sold-out stint at the legendary Troubadour Club in Los Angeles tonight.
So in the year 2000, Axl Rose did a short interview with Rolling Stone magazine where he revealed two controversial tracks that Guns N' Roses did, including One in a Million on GNR Lies and the Spaghetti Incident's hidden track Look at Your Game Girl were going to be pulled from any future copies of the albums. So the reason he decided to pull these songs is because, according to Rose, they're too easily misinterpreted. Number 6, in the late 1990s, Marilyn Manson actually did a cover of the Guns N' Roses song One in a Million and intended to release it, but eventually those plans were later scrapped. So in an interview that he did in October of 1998, he revealed that another song which Manson and the band have covered for use on a future single is the equally controversial Guns N' Roses track One in a Million. So the lyrics caused outrage back in 1988, so much so that Axl Rose was forced to make an awkward public apology for the offense caused to America's black and gay population. Manson views the song and the storm of protest which followed with a wicked fascination. So Marilyn Manson said, "It's interesting to me that Axl Rose would write a song like that and then back down in the press and not be able to defend his statement," he says. "If you're going to have the balls to make that kind of statement, then you should be able to back it up. So I figure I'll say it and then show them how it's done properly. These people really don't know how to do anything right," Manson huffs. "I have to take it all up. I have to take up all the slack for them. I'm not doing it because I agree with their statements, but because someone needs to do it properly. And if there's fresh outrage when your version of One in a Million is released," he was asked, he said, "Go bother Axl Rose. He effing wrote the song." Manson cackles. "It's not my effing problem." So that does it for my video about 6 things you may or may not have known about the song One in a Million from GNR Lies. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I know the time I did the True Story episode, it was pretty controversial. We had a lot of different opinions, so please keep it civil. And be sure to like this video if you enjoyed the contents, and please subscribe if you love Guns N' Roses as much as I do, and please share the video as well to other Guns N' Roses fans as well. So thanks for watching, everybody. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links to my social media channels are down below, and you can also support me on Patreon. The link to my Patreon page is down below as well. Take care.